Alright, we're big live. Alright, Nick, you shred for a minute. Welcome everyone to our welcome center.
What's up, gangster sauce?
You come out like a ninja. Check it out, dude. So this is on Facebook, YouTube, and not Twitch right now since we're not supposed to go on Twitch anymore for a minute. So they take away the ban. Alright. You alright?
What's going on in there? Oh yeah.
Yeah, rock and roll.
What's up,
Nice
bro?
to see everybody. We got a viewer on here tonight. Nice to see you, viewer. We're dudes, just chilling. We're at the underground music station. Drum lesson going on there in the background. Me and Nick. Just gonna speak emotionally.
Well, I gotta keep it G-rated, huh? Well, that's the only way I talk anyway. Rock and roll, man.
So we just tried out this new stream. Got banned on Twitch yesterday on accident. I mean, I guess. I wonder if you get banned on Facebook for playing Blazer games.
Don't ban you on Facebook for blinking wrong.
I probably got banned already on Facebook just for saying that. One thing I noticed about the stream is, man, I need to shave. I need to turn on some better lighting. Shit, I look like.
But see, I got banned from Facebook. Wait, I can't. It's all context, right? Like they can't ban me for saying it on a stream, can they?
Well, no. But I mean, I guess anything is possible.
Well, what I said was, well, this is the third time I got banned from Facebook, I think. Second or third. I can't remember because I've deleted my account and come back a couple times. It's hard to recall. I'd said, get fucked, fascist pig.
To who?
To a fascist pig.
Well, that narrows it down.
Oh shit, man. That's what I said, and they said it went against their community standards. They said it was bullying or something. I don't
Oh, because
remember.
you called him a pig. And so they were saying the guy was overweight.
I don't know if he was overweight. It was
But I mean, I'm saying like it's connected to that.
maybe.
Or is like pig connected to cops?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell which part of it. I didn't really give it much thought either. I kind of just smiled and then.
Well, I just mean.
And then I wasn't on Facebook for
I just
like a
mean to
month
avo-
or whatever they
Yeah.
banned me for. Like,
I just mean to avoid like.
Not on there anyway.
To avoid someone torturing you, or avoid like stepping in the hole. It's like even knowing what you did wrong in the first place.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
an
What's
accident?
Yeah, that's
You know, like when I say accident, like think what I was doing was I was washing dishes in the background of my house while I got banned, and I held up this cup that said Nike on the side of it. I think they saw that Nike sign and banned me for Nike or something maybe.
Weird, free advertising.
I think it might have been that I was just blatantly playing the Blazer game in 1080p like over the internet, and like I just wanted people that don't get that channel to watch it and be able to watch it, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty basic.
No, so you said you were
intentions.
banned because of it was high. You suspect it was because of high definition.
Well, I suspect that because I didn't have any more or less viewers, so like
Sure.
I suspect that like.
But that was the
that
deal
it looked
breaker.
better. That it looked better, and
Yeah.
it looked like it looked more like somebody somebody could watch it, like you know what I mean? Like somebody could log in to Twitch and be like, oh, I'm not going to buy YouTube TV to watch this game. I'm going to watch it on Twitch for free. So like the pirating concept that
Right.
like I earlier when I was playing it, it's like it almost didn't qualify as good enough to watch. You know what I mean?
Well, there's context here. Hold on a second. The game that you had on that specific game, was it broadcast?
Yeah, it was live. And I
So was it
broadcasting
on public television here, like
Not
like a
pub-
local
well-
network? Were you on ESPN or something like
No,
that?
it was like NBC Sports Northwest.
So it's
or
just
whatever.
local, just free TV, basically.
No. You can't get that channel. And
Oh.
even if you could, even though it's free, it's that like.
No, I'm saying I couldn't watch it at home. I don't have anything.
basically,
I
think-
just have fucking free
you
TV.
could, but I'm saying I think
Okay,
it's got
so-
something to do with the fact that I could broadcast it, and I could broadcast in the way I wanted to. So like I'm kind of representing it in my own way, and like they didn't have any control of that, right? So I could sit there and be like, what the fuck kind of shot was that? And like I also think they're kind of protective of, like, what if you became the most popular play-by-play guy that said fuck all the time, and then
Sure.
people wanted to watch the game on your channel instead of like
See, but I said
regular
now,
TV,
now
you know?
let me propose something kind of wild here, because when you say that, I'm thinking of this, and this is why I was asking the questions I was asking. Is if it's high definition, well, what would be? What if there was a stream going on and there was a TV in the background?
That's what I'm saying.
And
latency.
it's high definition. It has nothing to do with sports. It's someone at Buffalo Wild Wings doing a live stream of like a birthday party.
Well, see, that's-
and there's a Blazer game in the background, and his stream is high definition.
Double.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
who decides what was being presented
So-
as the game, unfiltered?
It's all a matter of what
The
could
broadcasted
someone-
game unfiltered that was already.
So I think
coming
in the
through.
old days, you'd have to get like, if you were going to do, say somebody was going to come to your bar and stop you from playing cover music or whatever, right? So
Right.
like that was like maybe a guy to make a phone call. So like that was the consistency of that job, right? The guy was in an office somewhere, he found out you did it, so he called your business and he said, hey, you need to stop doing this or you're going to get fined. And that was kind of that job, right? Now that job is actually just like behind the scenes clicking a button that makes your thing not work anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's like a totally different deal. It's not at all like intrusive in the way of like somebody's got to do a job. So like it's a computer that does that type of work now. It is like has no context. So I think if it catches like I think the Blazer game I was playing last night was like it was like perfect. You know, it looked like perfect. So I mean like I feel like like it was matched up. Like basically if there's like some algorithm that's catching parts of it, it was catching it at a really consistent rate over like a certain period of time that like definitely got me busted.
Right.
Where the other streams I was doing, like I had the same thing, they would like glitch and fuck up enough to where like I think that maybe like it had to start over. Like it just didn't count for as
So,
many.
like
So I did like a billion violations independently in a chunk that made it really easy to see
Got it.
that I got in trouble.
Yeah,
Because of a
remember I told
specific-
you YouTube, you know, they flagged my shit, a podcast I did, and I told you it was music that was playing in another room.
Right.
That you could barely even notice.
Well,
kind of the same as the Buffalo Wild Wings analogy,
Sure.
isn't it? Like just the TV that's not supposed to be there. So like, how come then it picked up on, you know, that, like, which was a song bleeding from a fucking iPad playing 40 feet away from me in another room with a door shut, and it could hear it and I couldn't hear it, and it flagged me.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it's picking up like digital sounds that don't have anything to do with you hearing it. It's
fucking
a machine
crazy.
that like, who knows what kind of like, and who knows what like when we turn it up to a certain level so that it can hear us and we can hear it. But how do we know like the input for that shit isn't like so high that like it's picking up like we just turn on a mic, right? But it's actually so strong that it can hear people talking outside the door.
Yeah.
Like how do we know? How do you know? Like I'm just saying, like, and then when you get like big and they just don't like what you're talking about, then they're like, oh yeah, I think in the background I heard like a University of Arizona Oregon Ducks game playing someday, and I'm gonna shut it off, or you know what I mean? Like, so like you're just at, what I'm getting at is I think you're at the mercy of that, and you realize is that you're poor, and you're always gonna be poor, and like if you start to get somewhere, someone's gonna shut you down, and that's just how it goes. And if you squeak through and you get to be one of those really crazy lucky ones, somehow told everyone to fuck off, and somehow you still made it in this world, you know what I mean? Like, then say great, say yay for me. But in reality, there's just no game plan for it. Basically, you gotta live your life how you want, and then at the same time also realize that's probably not gonna work out for like a big portion of people who already kind of have their shit figured out. They already own all that shit. Like, when you don't have a house, you buy a house, you bought someone else's house.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a rare commodity that even when you bought a new house, you bought someone's field. You bought a piece of someone's old field.
Right.
Or, so it's not like you're either taking somebody's something or they're taking yours. And that's just the way it is. I don't know how come people keep getting so like baby hurt about like renting a house for like, 45 or 50 years, dude, like, and getting over it, dying. Big deal. That's like a large portion of every human being that's ever gonna live. Like, what's the big fucking deal? Like, somewhere along the way, you became like a heroin junkie if you don't own a home. Like, or something. Like, the equivalency changed.
That's a pretty complicated rabbit hole.
It's crazy. It's crazy, like, how much of a loser you are if you're not paying four grand a month for a house.
Well, that's another deep rabbit hole.
It's like, what the fuck? Well, hell, we're in a rabbit hole. What the hell better place to be in a rabbit hole?
Okay, yeah, well, sure. So obviously economies, societies, and the influence of those societies, that's what I mean. It's so deep, so philosophical. Like that idea that, no, this is what you do. And then as soon as you ask why, you're like, nobody's thought of it. You're like, well, no, we don't question it. This is what we do. So, no, wait, that doesn't make any sense. This math isn't adding up. Who cares, Nick? Don't worry about the math. Just do it.
You're like, well, then...
Borrow money, buy a car. Borrow money, go to school. Borrow money, buy a house. Borrow. Borrow everything. We're like, wait, Mom, I'm living outside my means. I can't afford these things. What? We don't think about that. You just do it.
Well,
you just go. And then... yeah, like you said, your thought, oh, I'm the junkie because I did some math and decided I can't afford that?
Right. Oh, no, trust me, if you're not buying shit, you're fucking seriously demonized.
Totally.
Like,
gotta be a consumer.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Like, almost at every turn.
More debt means you've done well.
Like, you can't imagine the look on people. There's nowhere to go even in a conversation. It just kills the conversation. People are like, well, I was going to do this, and I was going to do that, I was going to do this, and you say something like, well, like, sometimes I like to watch a movie, sometimes like this. I look at it on Netflix, I see the picture of it, and then I read the little part of it, and then I think about it for a couple minutes about what that movie was, and then I go, oh, that was a good movie, and then I go to the next thing. That's how much I give a fuck about, like, oh, it's gonna surprise me.
Yeah.
Sure it is. Sure. Like you think I'm not gonna read about it already on Twitter or somewhere else if it's actually good? Like, really, you think it's going to sneak by the thousands of people that I trust that know what they're talking about a good movie?
There's no good movies
It's like
anymore.
the last time somebody said there was a good movie was Parasite. Did you ever see that? Oh, dude, you got to watch it.
Good one?
Yeah, it was like movie of the year. It's Korean.
Oh, okay.
It's fabulous.
Cool.
It's dark.
Right on.
It's neat. It's a neat movie, right?
Yeah.
It's well made. But it's interesting. But like somebody told me through some grapevine of people in this world that you go, yeah, they're on top of it. It's like how long, it's like, listening to famous people. It's like, well, some of them actually kind of know what they're talking about. It's kind of amazing. There might be a reason why they're well known.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they got like spot on ideas over like long periods of time. It's called a reputation. It's incredible.
Yeah, that happens.
Like
that happens.
Malcolm Gladwell, like the guy, people constantly talk in reference to his ideas that he's come up with, and so you get like secondary concepts because you're hearing someone talk, and then they go, well, I just believe in that 10,000 hours thing, Malcolm Gladwell, and you're like, oh, you're always referring back to this other guy. So then you go back to this other guy and you start listening to his library of stuff, and you start realizing like, well, that's no wonder that you got this tier system because most people can't understand him very well because he's really smart. And so, like, you have this tiering system where you got someone who can, like, talk about quantum physics, and then you got, like, the secondary model, which are people who can kind of understand them, but they can't really tell you about it. But they can understand those other people. So they know enough to say, I respect them. because it adds up in my mind. Now, can I explain it back to you? No. But I get it.
Explain why you think someone's credible.
Well, like say when I was listening to a podcast one time, and this guy, I can't remember who he was, scientist, but he was talking to Joe Rogan, and he said, well, there's multiple infinities, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I heard that for the first time right then. I just hadn't heard anybody say that. And so in my mind, I first hit a weird little wall that went, huh? And then he started explaining it, and then it went, and I saw what multiple infinities looks like through his explanation.
Or the best you can.
So in 5
to
minutes,
the best
just what he meant. Just what he meant.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Like what he meant. I understood what he meant. Like, I get what you mean. Multiple infinities. Okay? Like, and then he made an analogy, like some kind of metaphor to explain it. It made sense to me. We move on in here. Now, how much longer would I have to study that before I could give a lecture about it? Maybe never. And that's the part you're talking about of understanding it. So like, that shit's trapped in my mind, and I know what the fuck it is. So like, I know what it is. Like, what the fuck, man? But like, being able to reproduce that means you're on another level. It's like saying that people can't hear music just because you can't play it. I mean, don't you think someone can hear Jimi Hendrix and go, damn, that's good, but they don't know how to do it? But it really doesn't take away from the fact that they can hear it. It just doesn't. It's just two different things. And so what we call intelligence a lot of times is just this reproducing of the thing, which isn't understanding it at all. It has nothing to do with it. Understanding it is actually supporting it. So the understanding it is saying, oh dude, you gotta hear this guy. Not I'm gonna tell you what that guy told me, because I can't. But what I can tell you is I listened to that guy, and what he said makes sense. And if you listen to him, if you tell me if you think he makes sense.
Which is kind of...
So we're supporting people who are famous.
It's funny what you just kind of described.
I don't know what's wrong with that.
What you just kind of described there too is what that phenomenon on social media, which is commenting a link instead of commenting your own wisdom, which is
even putting something.
A link is something, like you said, it's very specific. Go here and look at this instead of just, you know what, I can't really explain it. You probably got to read this entire book, which is kind of
what it should be most of the time.
Right, which is kind of what you're saying, which is also just being kind of honest, and that's why I don't throw that kind of bullshit out there. Like, oh well, here this the confirmation bias or this link kind of proves my point. But sorry, excuse me. But the idea that you can just explain a whole bunch of shit with a link or a phrase, or just one thing without understanding like the whole context of the entire fucking thing.
When a link gets too true about the thing it's talking about, you start to lose it because it's not your profession. So there comes a point where every regular person can only understand it to a certain point. When it's the truer it is,
you can say that
like
too.
The more honest it is, the more specific it is, and the more no one. It's like solar energy talk. Nobody knows what that is unless they're in that business.
Yeah.
And so the idea is like we have mediums of people who are good at talking, who understand a lot of fucking things, but they don't know how to do them.
Oh sure.
But it's like I'm not confused about it. Like my girlfriend showed me this schematic the other day. That was like these electricians on this video game that build these crazy signs, and the fucking schematic is like literally legit, like code style. It looks like a fucking pedal board, or something. Like it's just crazy linked up.
What are we talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?
This is an electrical schematic for like the inside of a sign in a game. So this game she plays is broke down to such a level that you can actually take other programs that are like real programs and build real electrical schematics and then implement them into the game. Like it's deep shit, right? So like this game accepts like stuff that's raw off the press. So all of a sudden there'll be a sign of art that's like drawn like a digital piece of art that's just stuck in this video game because someone knew how to code it. Someone knew how to build it. So the thing is again, same thing. That is not confusing to me. Zeros and ones, binary, like science. Sure. Fuck, it makes perfect sense to me. It's like fascinating how it's like it reminds me of Hemingway. Man leaves town, man goes to town. It's like he said, Hemingway says that's the only story there is. Yeah. They're all written, that's what they are. Yeah. And so it's just binary. It's just you're either there or you're not. And when you're over there, you're not. And then it goes back into mathematics of how everything's addition. It's either added over here, and then if you're that guy, you just had subtraction. So it's all perspective, you know, and so there's so many sciences that overlap with each other, but none of them are confusing. They're just not building for you to get anything. So when you get into education or you get into thinking about philosophy or whatever, when you come into it with this idea that you should get something from it in the end, like it's a linear process, you automatically fail because there isn't anything linear. Like, you know what I mean? A linear concept is a bad perspective. Like you just think you're going from here to here, but in reality, you're not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like from where? From whose point of view?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like so in philosophy, you're always looking for some kind of balance because now it's like the least wavy part. You know what I mean? And like in guitar, you call it in tune. In mathematics, you call it equal. It's when like this massive equation is equal to this massive thing, and they're not related, but you can actually put an equal sign in between them, and like that's it. You walk away from that, like you're a happy man. So most things are really easy to figure out. You just look at where's the profit, what's the residual amount of profit, and if there's even 0.001% of imbalance, it's bad. It's just eventually bad. You know what I mean? Everything becomes exponentially bad if you don't like, you know what I mean? Like, so in a way, all the stuff people talk about, whatever it is, like you hated Obama or you hated Trump or whatever, but like there's some form of rebalancing to where, you know, like the argument is like, do you want to, like, here's a good presentation of the same concept is it better to take racists and let them have a platform like Parler and let them talk crazy shit on 4chan and just be raging assholes and let them be public, or do you want to shove them underground and make it all illegal? Like, which one do you think works better? You know what I mean? Like
you don't want to know my answer.
Well, no, you know what I'm saying? Or you want to imprison people, or do you think they get better? You think a person's going to get better in a cage, or do you think you get better in like maybe some people will get hurt, but we have to put them back in society, so we got to let them get back to normal again? Like, which one? Obviously, there's no perfect answer, but I'm saying is the idea that most people are really extremely kind of imbalanced in that way. It lets you know that like what we're actually doing in this world is kind of a mix of both, which is probably what we ought to be doing. We're not always doing the wrong fucking thing.
It's a different. You know? See, when that subject comes up, I know it's a different subject, but I feel like there's an exception.
Well, sure, but just right now, in 100 years,
the exception meaning like I don't believe there is a place in the modern world for hate.
Well, but what I'm saying is
that's all I mean.
Hate's a different. So when hate's a weird word for confusion.
Well,
you know what I mean.
It can be abstract or it could be weird or it could be very easily explained and direct too. For an example, if you have, which we already have, racist police. All right, so let's move forward even farther. What if we have racist paramedics?
Right.
Who decide who to help or what type of quality care?
In some situations.
Sure.
In this world.
But my point is, when we accept that into our societies, that's when people die and suffer, which means it's cancer. There's no place for hate.
Completely agree.
That's what I mean.
Well,
they shouldn't be in prison. They shouldn't be forced underground. They should be recognized and universally accepted as an abomination. And subhuman.
So where I've gone with that is that some alleviation of the difference between what it is to be aggressive or competitive. The difference between that and the difference between
podcasting. That's Nick. This is
Hi. I'm good. Sounded good in there.
Yeah, heck yeah. You got a nice hairdo, by the way.
1 month.
Nice
hair.
4 lessons.
Just so you know.
Thank you.
I'm long hair too, so.
No, right. That's a really great idea, playing bass.
If you're gonna rock, you know.
To play bass? You were playing a bass in there, right? That's a great idea.
I like to get it. He's obviously. I start out just talking to him when he's learning the drum, so that he's listening and hearing, trying to concentrate while he's still listening to me. And then I get the bass out, and so he could listen to the bass and still play the drum.
So much space.
Yeah, and just
with the bass.
Trying to leave space with that one held out note. He was 6/8 his way right through it.
Listen to
That's great, man.
Listen to Fleetwood Mac, The Chain. Listen to that drum bass relationship. I've been listening to it today. It's my version of the On.
I love
You
that
can't.
song.
He's a crazy good drummer.
They're all just crazy.
And the production's so great
Great
too.
album.
Take it
See
easy,
you later,
man. But they're all on the one. They're like, it's a rare song. Like it really is. If you listen to it, we can't play it on this podcast because we get fucking torn off. But it's like, you can't. The bass is on.
Yeah.
And everything's on. And it's like rare. It's
You
really
will
not.
love me now. You will never love me.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's very fucking aggressive.
Yeah, it is.
And it's like, nobody thinks that's an aggressive song, but it's like they don't realize like how they're feeling when they're listening to it.
Yeah, it's funny. I got a funny story about that song, man. I was on a road trip with a buddy of mine one time, and that song was playing on the radio. And like out of nowhere, dude, like it's just playing, and we're somewhere near Umatilla, and out of nowhere he's all, and hits the dashboard. He's all, yeah, never break the chain. he was just getting really into that Fleetwood Mac
Dude,
song.
people that like Fleetwood, I've seen people like get kind of teary,
Yeah, oh yeah.
like a few too many rainy airs on the back porch. And oh man, I love that. Band.
So when I talked my wife into dating me, that's how I wooed her with some Fleetwood Mac. The first night we hooked up, that's what I put on to listen to, and she was like, "What the fuck?" Because I was a teenager
and you were like punk rock.
So like she's like, "Why the fuck is he listening to this?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, everybody loves
it's
Fleetwood
lovers.
Mac. It's fucking
That's
great."
They were like actually a thing, and then they
Yeah.
broke up, and there's all this tension, and like they had some great tunes.
Oh, dude, the drums are so great.
Yeah,
the
I
way
agree.
that, and it's funny. I just pointed it out to my wife the other day. Fleetwood Mac was playing. I'm like, that dude sounds like he's analog.
Right.
He sounds like a fucking drum machine, and the hits are perfect. The
Yeah.
drum set, the
And
production
it
is just
is.
ridiculous.
It does
Like,
sound fake.
Yeah.
I got a few songs. I made a playlist just for relationships of different types of music. So it's songs I like, but it's things I found in them that are like Have a Cigar, Pink Floyd.
Mhm.
So it's like that's what I've been looking at it from, this way of writing a song where like everybody's going like out of their own thing, right?
Yep.
Right? And
Yep.
then it goes. Na, na, na,
Yep.
na. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
that idea of like just coming together, and then
Yeah.
going back and like everybody's just kind of like
Right. No, it's so cool. That's so cool. So
together,
yeah.
it's like so fucking powerful, dude.
So
like,
what you're talking about right there is really interesting, man, because I just did this yesterday with a lesson. So I'm writing down like exercises and lesson ideas lately, and one of them was that, and it was volume matching.
yeah.
So in the same way, it's like we're going to get chaotic, and then we're both going to drop volume at the same time. We're going to meet up here in this one spot, and then we're going to slowly get
Right.
loud, and then we're going to go quiet again and slowly get loud, just as an exercise.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. Like, yeah, you're bobbing around, you're doing your little parts, and then everybody meets up in one spot, and then you go back. It's kind of the same kind of idea.
Oh, that's so weird. That sounds like it's rumbling, but it's not bass. It's not bassy, but it has that sound in it.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds.
I tell a bitch, be a bitch.
Oh, dude.
I'm not laughing because I don't give a shit. It's like literally cussing on Facebook. Who cares? But here's the thing. Your face is perfect when you said that. Now let's log out, dude. I'm done with this.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. No, I mean, I don't want to do this one. I mean, this isn't what this is for. We got an hour in. We got another 30 minutes. on this one.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh.
That flies by. We had 2 viewers.